Just do something to tell you who I am, you know?
Got a philosophical perspective on folks if you're trying to make big changes to your lifestyle, diet in particular, but also exercise and stuff. A lot of times when we try and make changes, we kind of go on the offensive and we try and remove stuff out of our life. We try and get foods out of our diet. We try and get habits out and so forth. And this is really hard and it's really stressful. Usually it doesn't last very long. Here's kind of how I'm thinking about things these days. I heard an old Native American kind of philosophy that a person is kind of like a circle. And when their circle is complete and full, they're happy, they're healthy, everything's going good. But if you remove something from their life, their daily life, let's say their usual breakfast routine or whatever, you're removing part of that circle and they no longer feel complete, they're not whole, they're not satisfied, and so on. So what ends up happening is this is a very stressful place to be. It's not very hard. So it's natural for a person to look for substitutions. Something that's going to say, well, it's not this that I try to get rid of, so what else can I put in there? And they find something else to cover it up, and now they're whole and they're complete again. The problem is the substitutions sometimes may not be any better than what they took out in the first place. And who knows if it's going to be just as much beneficial. It may have other downfalls and so forth. So I use this approach instead. And rather than trying to look at what do you take out of the diet, what do you remove from the lifestyle like smoking or anything like that, I use the opposite approach. If we're a circle, then it's hard to take stuff out, but it's also hard to include other things as is. So if I've got like this other thing that I want to include, and I'm like, hey, get that in there, and it's like, no, we already are full at the end, we can't spend the money or anything. So then the natural thing is, well, what do we get rid of to make room for this better thing? Okay, so instead of removing foods from the diet, think of what foods and habits and activities can be better than what you're doing right now. So he's like, well, I could probably get rid of this thing and that's not really doing anything for me and so on. So you remove it out of necessity and then it comes right in and it's better than what was there beforehand. I've seen this happen with, not personally, but I've heard of it happening where people have had detrimental habits. Drugs or smoking or alcohol or self-defeating behaviors like that, and they all of a sudden they just randomly decide to take up mountain biking or skiing, or they get into art or something else, right? And before too long, those detrimental habits are either greatly reduced or they're entirely out of their life, and they say, I never tried to stop smoking, but all of my time and money and energy went towards skiing. I just felt it just didn't happen anymore because they had something better. So the lesson that I'm trying to impart to you today is if you're trying to improve your life, bring in better things. Don't try and get rid of the bad stuff. You don't have to work that hard. You don't have to work at removing things from your life because that's going to cause this incompleteness to happen. It's where the cravings come from. It's where the hunger, it's all the deprivation and stuff. Nobody wants to be there and your mind will fight against it. It's only a matter of time before you crack. But if you bring in something better, then it's going the opposite direction and you're going to have much better results and you're going to have a lot more fun too. So just some philosophical food for thought. Till then, be fit, live free.